know what conditions to expect when you reach your destination, watch the Business Travel Forecast, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.
All right, let's take a look at some of those ski conditions for you. Packed powder, 80 trails as we go to Stratton in Vermont. No new snow at Loon or Seven Springs, but we do have some great skiing. It's a little chilly. Bundle up as you head out, but otherwise not too bad. A little bit of loose granular as of early this morning at Holiday Valley in New York. Through 7 a.m. tomorrow, no significant snow. A little bit of snow downwind of Lake Ontario. And then our extended forecast, some more snow pushing through resorts in the lakes, the Ohio Valley, and eventually into the Northeast by Wednesday and Thursday.
watching the Weather Channel. Accurate and dependable forecasts you can always turn to. And when you're away from your television, the Weather Channel forecast is also available from the following.
All right, let's take a look at what's happening in Alaska and Hawaii, and you can see a couple of frontal systems draped over the Pacific late this morning. Now, this one's fairly powerful. It has a fair amount of tropical air getting pulled north in advance of the cold front. This one kind of waves a little bit. There are several low-pressure centers along that system, and as it moves towards the east in the next 24 hours, we'll see an increase in some of the rain. Over Hawaii, just barely make out that band of thin low clouds as we cut down into the Big Isle. Some high cirrus clouds as we head well north and east of the Hawaiian Islands, and then as we go farther north, here comes that round of moisture moving towards British Columbia. Then a little cold in north central and east central Alaska with readings this morning of 30 to 40 below zero. There are the current readings: 38 below at Bettles, 8 below as we head much farther south to Burwash, and in Hawaii early in the day, 62 at Honolulu and 65 degrees in Hilo. Time to take a look at the Florida forecast. Even in Florida, even that far south, there's no escaping the cold air mass from the north. In fact, tonight will be a very chilly night across the state. Let's have a look at our satellite view in motion, and what you find is this band of clouds with the front that's moved well out into the ocean. We go over the peninsula, and you can see brisk northerly winds have lined these clouds up from northwest to southeast here, but you notice those skies have cleared rapidly as of early this afternoon, although we still have a few cumulus clouds as we're heading south of Tampa, working your way towards Sarasota. Water temperatures, well, they're a little cool, but hey, it's February. 58 at Clearwater, 60 at Daytona Beach. We can still find some low 70s in the Keys and around Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Current readings only 54 at Miami, 30s from Jacksonville all the way west to the border with Alabama. We'll have a look at some radars in the west coming up.
Know what conditions to expect when you reach your destination. Watch the business travel forecast only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.
This is a special edition of WeatherScope, continuing coverage of Cold Wave 96. It's time for the Good Afternoon forecast, and it is sponsored by the American Express card. Well, that's what we see coming up this afternoon. Arctic high pressure slides south to the Gulf Coast, and get ready for a brutally cold night tonight In the southeast part of the country, bit of snow kicks in across northern Minnesota, but I tell you what, it's not going to be the light snow or the winds today that's the big deal. The big deal is that the warm-up trend will continue. The center, or the brunt of the coldest air, is moving farther east and south away from the Midwest and the plains, as we now have a return flow of air coming around the high pressure, so things are looking up, especially the temperature trend that's headed up, and more rain and snow, freezing rain in the Pacific Northwest. We'll check the rest of the forecast, but we're going to show you the satellite view of the west coast. And what this will show you is plenty of moisture coming in. We've had several waves of rain and sleet and snow push into the Pacific Northwest. Northern California, 2 to 3 inches of rain last night in some of the hills. And so now what we're going to be more concerned about is the potential for flooding as we go through the next several days, because this is just round one. There'll be several more coming up over the next few days. Lots of moisture with this type of weather pattern, which will just feed up and slam into the western coast. Yesterday we had some fairly significant rain in Santa Barbara and Ventura counties, at least up in the mountains, 3/4 to an inch of rain. That system has taken off. It's east out of satellite view, in fact. And as you look off here to the north, there's some of that colder air this morning. By the way, we did have plenty of record lows this morning. In fact, we also had a record sea level pressure established in Baton Rouge. That's right, the highest pressure they've recorded since weather records began in the city. Now, as far as what's happening currently in the west, you have your rain pushing into California, south towards the Bay Area, snow heavy at times over southern Idaho. A lot of the precipitation has tapered off in the Willamette Valley, but we still have this problem with this cold air feed coming down through the gorge from the east, and that pretty much ensures that there's still that threat of freezing precipitation on the north edge of the Willamette Valley, and then especially heading east to Portland, and some pretty gusty winds. Yesterday, winds were gusting 75 to almost 80 miles an hour, not too far away from the north side of Portland as you go down through the gorge. High pressure sitting over the south, as we mentioned. A little burst of snow last night, although I guess a little bit more than a little. We had reports of actually 3 to 6 inches of snow in the southern Appalachians, and you can see the current temperatures feeding that cold air south with the Arctic high. It's only in the teens from the northwest part of Georgia as far west as central and eastern Kansas, and it's still below zero in Des Moines, Iowa. So that record started last night, 8 o'clock local time, 115 hours below zero, consecutive hours. That was a tie, and so since that time we have established the new number of consecutive hours below zero. All right, let's check the rest of the forecast for you and see where this cold air is going. Well, initially it's going to be buried in the southeast to start the day. This could be the coldest nights in quite some time for several locations in the southeast with clear skies, light winds, so the temperatures are going to drop very, very quickly after sunset tonight.